So this is microwave auditory effects, subliminal messaging, and or voice to skull. This is being received right now on baseband from sound card on software-defined radio. This is the AirSpy Studios one. This is free open source software, so anybody can get it and download it. This is the second time I've used this computer in a really, really long time, and it has been running for 250 days straight, and the CPU is maxed at 100%. So right when this performance tab loads, it's trying there. You'll see that my runtime has been 250 days, and I had to charge this for it to start. So, my uptime just reset. I shit you not, just a little bit ago, it showed 256 days. But now it shows 1 hour and 18 minutes. So here we are. This is incoming voice to skull / microwave auditory effect and or v2k coming in. This is how the war in Iraq and Afghanistan was ended. They used this on the terrorists, and now they're mislabeling people as domestic terrorists and using the same technology on them. Now, what has this done? It's made our country have the worst surge in domestic terrorism in world history, not just United States history, but world history. Now, the same people that are managing this list are trying to keep on managing this list and engineer this to the point where they can report to Congress that they've got so many suspected terrorists, they need more funding, more personnel in a new headquarters, and more people acting as v2k transmitters or people that are surveilling people like myself. So this problem is not only extremely serious, but it's getting worse by the minute that correct action doesn't occur. So we've got the opportunity to send in letters to our Supreme Court. You can get a copy of that letter at Targeted Justice of what to send them, and then add in your own story. I would love to send in mine right this minute, or to be working on it, but my first computer is killed to the point where it won't boot up. My second computer is completely unusable, as you see this CPU being maxed out to 100% and how slow it is. I just clicked this Task Manager tab, and you see how slow it's going. So it's completely unusable with it reading at 100% maxed out, and it's got programs that keep on populating and running that are malware, bloatware. So maxed out at 100%. So I'm being hacked. All my data is being stolen. My vitals are being taken. This is cruel and unusual punishment. There was no due process to put me in the shit list. We're at 24.49 kilohertz bandwidth, and if I narrow that down a little bit, it'll come in a little bit differently. So that could be exactly why only some people are hearing it, is because if it's a lot louder with a narrower bandwidth, then it would be laser focused, hitting just one person at a time, most likely. However, this could be used with any voice. So a person's subconscious could be mimicked with this technology. So this could be used on a person that doesn't know all the tricks of the system to temporarily trick them really quickly. Like, for example, to have some sort of weird scripted interaction with a targeted person like myself or like most of you guys. So instead of them being read into it at a fusion center, I know for a fact they can have their subconscious mind influenced remotely. And if they don't know as much as you or I do about it, how the fuck are they going to know that that just happened? So this is something that is reported to numerous different law enforcement agencies to the tune of hundreds, if not thousands of times every single quarter of every single year. Okay? And then they had to engineer conspiracy theorists are crazy. That's a whole concept that they engineered. The same exact people that are literally guilty of a very real conspiracy, conspiring against the masses, have created this phraseology as a narrative redirection. Okay? The same thing happened to me on a personal level. When I found out who was guilty, who was a guilty party in my immediate vicinity, I investigated that to the best of my ability without doing anything illegal. Had the person file 20 false police reports about me, approximately, to attack my character, to try to call me a bunch of things that I'm not, to make it to the point where I can't investigate jack shit. I have to defend myself. I had to hire representation that cost me $3,000 for 20 instances of perjury, not just one or two. Okay? Thank God I had hired the lawyer, not just for one instance, but he covered all of the different cases that were brought up against me, most of which were dismissed and then resubmitted because these people that were attacking my character were doing so maliciously with the goal of getting me off of this topic, off of that specific trail, which obviously is one good lead. While there are numerous good leads, and the reason being is that it's a lot of the times extremely remote. So it's good to catch every one that you can if it's happening in a close proximity. And to do it with scientific means. Like, for example, a traditional microphone that's not running software like this, like on our phones, for example, shouldn't be able to pick up voice to skull because the microphone threshold is tuned in a specific way. And the people transmitting at us know that, as well as they all hack our devices and see for a fact that it doesn't receive that. So when in my environment, at my house, on my patio, and the video is still on my channel, when I was watching a Darknet Diaries about cyber mercenaries working in United Arab Emiratis, there was psyops that was audible from my camera on my patio that was running, and all the sound that was annoying me and defying the laws of physics and natural sound that was audible through every inch of my house at a ridiculously high level. All of that was shown to be coming in on that patio from that one person's house that was being transmitted at me at that day, deliberately as audio harassment, a noise harassment campaign. So most of the time, like right now, for example, this is coming in from a very far away location, utilizing the communications infrastructure being cell towers, satellites, and or military-grade drones. So that is what's happening in 99% of people's instances, and that's why targeted justice says that, because 99% of the time that is the case. Now, if I go anywhere in the world right now, if I take my ass to Seattle, Utah, Arizona, California, anywhere, this will follow my ass the entire fucking trip. I promise you it will. There will be moments where it's less loud. There will be moments where I don't hear much. But it'll be there. You know what I mean? It'll be there. So this is complete torture. This is being used to engineer the worst outbreak in domestic terror. We don't have to worry about tomorrow. We could use advanced large data set analytics to look at yesterday's information about it and the day before's information about it. And why aren't we looking at it? Well, because the media is making way too much money, and our White House and every single person that's been there for the last 20 years would rather see more money hit their bank account and have the New World Order continue to happen than protect American life. And that's just a fucking fact. And I hate to be the one to say it, but it's true. From the Obama administration, the George Bush Jr. administration, to the Trump administration, Christopher Wray was the Attorney General for George W. Bush Jr. The Trump administration appointed him as the FBI director in their first term. That's not a good person. Okay? It's not a good person. Now, the United States has lied under oath in reference to targeted justice not getting a court case again. When they called that case fantastical, they're forgetting that in the 1960s, Alan Frey worked on microwave auditory effect at Cornell University, and then that became a secret project at for the United States Army at Walther Reed Institute of Research and Technology. So that's perjury to claim that this is all fantasy and bullshit, that this doesn't exist, when the foundation of this technology and the beginning of this all was being perfected at universities and then in private by military institutions as well. So that's lying under oath to say that this is all fantasy. And now here's proof of it really happening. So it's like, how do you tell that somebody's telling the truth? Well, how the fuck would they know that this is a thing unless they're being hit with it, right? So anybody saying that they're targeted is most likely telling the truth. Especially because why the fuck would you want everybody to come out of the woods and try to call you crazy or this, that, or the other? No, the only reason is because we're so not crazy, we have to get the word out. It's that bad. Because this kills people. This program kills and kills and kills. This is probably a bigger murderer than COVID, but that's just my opinion. I'm not sure. It's going to be a close one. This is running globally, okay? This is creating so much chaos in communities, it's hard to put a number on exactly how many things are linked to this. Now I'm moving around a little bit, and you're hearing it come in clear, and once again, this would be the tempo that I would be hearing this communication at. Now, when it comes in as a whisper tone most of the time. 90% of the time, it's a female voice. Sometimes they'll try to freak me out and either modulate that whisper female voice to the point where it sounds like a generic, like, male voice, but most of the time, it's the same female voice that's used. So, with some instances of dude voices. But, so right now they're trying to make it seem like people are having reactionary comments, like the group is having reactionary comments, but it's too in sync for that to be a true group of people. And that's another thing. When you pay attention to these subtleties, you regain your peace of mind. There's not an entire group of derps doing this, most likely, and when there are, they're all pathetic terrorists who are actively committing terrorism, treason, and war crimes. You know, just because the leadership in place says, hey guys, why don't you go shoot these Iraqi kids and just drive through the desert aimlessly looking for these weapons of mass destruction. And now just come on back. We didn't find them. We're going to just end this whole thing with aerial technology that's significantly more advanced, just like all of you brave soldiers have been asking for this entire time. That's the reality of it. I'm not talking shit about the people that are in the military. I'm talking shit about our leadership that didn't utilize that aerial technology from the get-go. Now when you think about the New World Order's plan to depopulate the Earth, how false flags are directly tied into Serge Monast's Blue Beam, which is, Blue Beam is the same people, the New World Order people. And then this technology is used on terrorists to end the war. Now it's being used on domestic terrorists that aren't really terrorists. You know? The media played an important role to the point where We were so scared of the Iraqis that they had to make a new word for it, saying xenophobia. Saying Americans, we can't be xenophobes. That's what they taught in colleges, is that you essentially shouldn't be racist. Don't judge another person. And that was mainly created because of all the narrative that was put out against Muslim people, how they're trying to kill Americans, how they're extremists, this, that, and the other. When that was all the media manipulating our emotions so we are okay with the war that occurred in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, every single person that was out there, and I wasn't, I'm not a veteran of that war, but every single time I've heard a person speak on it, the thing that people were saying is, why the fuck are they even there, out in the middle of fucking nowhere, looking for what? When they could have won the entire thing without a single foot on the fucking soil with our advanced Air Force capabilities. Now, don't give me any bullshit about anything. You have satellite capabilities in these same years, you just didn't have a name for the fucking satellite fuckers yet, which we had a few years later, calling now Space Force. So the programs, the weapon systems already fucking existed, were managed by Air Force and CIA and intelligence communities, who knows what their names are. But literally, it's just like, it's annoying to me that now, it's annoying to me that the case is being ignored. They just signed into law that they're allowed to kill us now at will, and we still don't have the right to fight about it in court while this is happening literally every second of every single day. You see this value take a break? It does not. Okay? And again, my theory of potentially one of the theories of why maybe I'm the only one hearing it and the person next to me might not be, is because when I have this wider bandwidth, it gets quieter. Okay? And now when I narrow down this bandwidth, it becomes louder and that message gets louder. So I theorize a person would have to be hit with the narrow beam directly for them to hear the voice of skull, potentially. That's a really good possibility. It looks like that's possible. It looks like that's the case. So it could be due to that. It could be because of our brain being linked into a system. It could be just solely because our names are on these lists as well. But moral of the story is it is definitely happening. The targeted justice people have enough people that have worked in these programs, enough doctors that have given their medical opinion, to the point that it surpasses the abilities of the court. The court is not an expert on everything. No, they're trying to tell medical professionals and experts on this topic, they can't tell them shit. They need to listen, is what they need to do.